She said I love you after 3 days.
Bullshit.
She can't or doesn't want a video chat because she's shy.
Forget about it.
Her camera on her smartphone is broken.
Come on, give me a break.
She only video chats for 10 seconds.
That's called controlled access.
She sends me actual videos of herself, so she must be real.
That's editing.
She asked for load, but it was only 200 pesos.
That's how it starts.
She never asked for money.
Because she made you offer.
She says her child is sick.
Could be, but verify first.
She disappeared all weekend.
With who?
She gets mad when I ask normal questions.
Manipulation.
She says I don't trust her.
Pressure tactic.
She has no family pictures.
Something's fishy.
She says she has had a visa to the USA before. If I just fund the application, she can come see me.
Oh, what a setup.
Her Facebook page is locked.
Then verify more.
She has 2 Facebook accounts.
For what?
She says the old account was hacked.
The dog ate my homework.
She has no old photos on her Facebook page.
Not normal.
She has no comments from family members.
That's strange.
She can only message me late at night.
That's bad sign.
She says she works all day.
Maybe, but patterns matter.
She has a cracked screen. She wants money for a new phone.
Very classic.
She wants money for Wi-Fi.
Again, classic.
She needs bus fare to visit her sick mother.
Maybe real, maybe scam.
She says she's never been married, but she can't get a Cenomar.
Then that's a problem.
She says there's a typo on her birth certificate. That's the problem.
Could be true, but you have to prove it.
She says her cousin controls her documents.
Come on.
She says her auntie has her ID.
No, that's impossible.
She says she can't show her address.
Then don't send anything.
She says she wants privacy.
Privacy is not secrecy.
She says Filipinas are just emotional.
Not a solid excuse.
She says she's different.
That's what every man wants to believe. She's different.
And Chrissy, that's the excuse behind every one of these. You know, really smart men, they want to believe after a long period of being alone, after a divorce, after a separation, after dealing with women in the West and all the societal changes, they just want to believe when someone's sweet and tender and behaves, you know, like a Filipina.
What I learned from hundreds of social media reviews that I've done is that there are so many sweet words that coming from the Filipina that even me will think she's different. But then during the research, I will just find out that everything was just an excuse.
Yeah.
Everything was just a charm school quotation.
So many of these men who encounter these Filipino women seeking to get an infusion of cash or change their lives, they want to believe the lies. Smart men, engineers, doctors, lawyers, the quality of the men that take advantage of your services is really remarkable. PhDs, doctors, business owners, and yet you end up finding that 60% of the time they bit. When the bait was put in the water, they bit.
What's really interesting is that I find a pattern, like this excuse was being used several times. All the men that heard that excuse ended up in the same result, ended up into a scam, ended up into talking
Broken
to
heart,
a real person. So we could see where the situation will go. If somebody will come approach us and will say, hey, Chrissy, she said this. I was like, oh, come on. I knew this.
You know, and Chrissy, just this month again, we had 2 lady boys that you discovered.
Yes. Speaking of about lady boys, we don't have a problem about lady boys. It's just that the transparency and honesty of the person.
Lack of honesty.
Like, we have a lot of people that talking to lady boys, but then up front they said they're lady boys if they're okay with it, and they're okay with it. No problem. But for a lady boy to pretend as a woman and scam
fake
big money, fake documents.
Yeah.
So
what I should have said is we've had 2 clients who were misled, and you found out that they were ladyboys. But there's so many other. This visa scam, we're getting more and more of these visa scams. People claiming they have the ability to travel on a tourist visa, or they've already had a visa to the U.S. but it expired. We're getting a lot of that. We're getting people who are saying they're never been married, no children. People who just just are very misleading, and they use a lot of these excuses. The question is, Chrissy, why do smart men believe the lies? And one of the things that we see over and over again is when we confront the man with evidence, they become defense attorney mode. They switch into defense attorney mode, and they come up with excuses. Well, if I present this to the jury, would they convict? Maybe not. They may not convict, but that's not the job of the man. The job of the man is to find a reason to say no, to find something a little bit too fishy, a little bit too good to be true.
Yeah, well, a lot of men will present to us the things that they believe is true, like the ID, the documents, the relationship, the sweetness of their Filipina. But our job is to collect the evidence that all of those are not true. If it's true, then good for you. But if it's not, and we collected the data that will prove that it's not true, it's devastating, but at least it saves you a lot of time and money in the future.
Let's just talk about the biggest variable that we've discovered after talking to almost 800 clients, and you've done, I think, 300 of these social media reviews. The variable that comes up over and over and over again is lack of, poor quality, or inconsistent communication, specifically video chat. And we have had over 100 men. Just last week, we had a man admit to $30,000 that he gave. He never met the woman. 50% of the money who've given away huge money. We've had men admit to giving $142,000. And several in the $50,000 range, and they never video chatted the woman. We've had a man who got a video for 15 seconds, but Chrissy proved that it was an AI video. No video chat, Chrissy. What is it?
Yeah.
What do you know?
You know, there are some occasions that the person will say they video calls all the time, but even that, it's not enough for
Even
us
that.
to say that you are in a good relationship,
Yes.
that you found the one. Even that. How about those people who never video chat the woman,
Well,
or rarely, and she's like cannot be available anytime?
So no video chat is just a non-starter, and you should never send money to people you've not met. You should never send money to someone you haven't video chatted. And inconsistent, infrequent video chat. Chrissy, sometimes the men send, it's really me. I don't really like to video chat. We had one client who was in his 70s. We did 2 social media reviews for him, both times negative, and he said, I don't like, and I'm never going to video chat, Rob. I am never going to video chat, Rob. And we told him, well, dude, you are going to really be one hurting cowboy. And after the second time, I think, you know, he kind of took it to heart, and he just notified us last week that he has been 90 days and he's moving in together with a Filipina here in the Philippines.
Well, the problem of not willing to video call is he's just gonna be prospect of scamming.
Yes.
Because that's what scammers want, a person who doesn't want or not comfortable with video call, because at least in a non-video call communication, they can move into editing and a lot of excuses.
Yeah, they can manage their time. They can talk to
manage
6
their
other
time.
men
Yep.
and just send recorded videos or send text messages without interrupting.
That's
Yeah.
good that you mentioned chatting with other men, because it's not necessarily that they're an organized crime, they're ladyboys, they are men who are just pretending to be women, but they could be real Filipina, but just the kind of Filipina that willing to accommodate multiple foreigners at the same time.
Well, it happened to me where you have you think you're being taught. Even let's go back. Even when the people report that they have high quality video chat, it is not the end of the game, because the ask or the hint or just having shown you how desperately poor they are will lead to money being transferred. So the flip side of no video, inconsistent video, bad video chat is great video chat. The girl just dives in with both feet and she says, I love you after 3 days, and she's all over you on video. Yet you can't really take that to the bank, can you?
Yes. You know, when somebody will tell you, I love you after 3 days of communicating, that's too good to be true. If you believe in love, you should believe that it's bullshit, you know, like nobody will fall in love for you with you
In 3 days.
in 3 days. If she will say I like you, yes, but you know, there's a lot of men that will believe that fantasy since it's been a long time they heard that from a woman,
Yes,
especially
yes.
Filipina, sweet, and like what you
They're
said,
little,
very modest.
yes, smart men can be very, very
Yeah.
susceptible.
And that will trigger their fantasy to believe that
Yes.
in their imagination, and they will feel like they're being loved, they're being accepted, they're being wanted,
Right.
and they just want to defend that emotion to be there and not be gone. If somebody will tell him she's not in love with you, for him it's gonna be annoying and frustrating because why would you kill that emotion, that
Yeah.
happiness that he's feeling?
So a 30-year-old says, I don't have Facebook, I don't use it.
It's not true.
Just full stop, not true.
If she lives in the desert, maybe.
Okay,
But
so-
living in the Philippines,
Yes.
that's
So
impossible.
let's explain this. When you have a Facebook page, you also get a Facebook Messenger account.
Correct.
Now, unless you're dating internationally, you don't use WhatsApp. If you're a Filipina, you don't have a foreign boyfriend, you never use WhatsApp. You only use Messenger. So to not have a Facebook page means you don't have a Messenger, which means you can't talk to the rest of the Philippine population because nobody uses the telephone to talk. What percentage of people use Messenger to communicate?
99%.
99%.
99%.
You can't even deal with a vendor. If you want to buy a piece of furniture, you got to contact them on their
Well,
Facebook
to think about
page.
it, an 8-year-old kid will have Messenger and Facebook already
Yeah.
nowadays.
Okay.
So a 30-year-old, 33-year-old woman, like even the woman is already 50. So
And
if the woman will say, I don't have Facebook page or I'm not into social media, well, that's something.
Okay, let's go to the dog ate my homework. Oh, my ex-boyfriend hacked me, and I don't use it anymore, and I can't give you my Facebook page because of the dog ate my homework.
Yeah, I have something to say about that. There is a pattern. I've received these excuses like multiple times. A Filipino will say, I deleted my Facebook because I got an argument with my family members. I got an argument with my ex-boyfriend. That's a very lame excuse because if you are in an argument with a person, you can just block that person from your social media.
Right.
You don't need to delete your
Right.
social media and sacrifice the whole thing in there just
Right.
because of that argument. So that is not, you can hardly believe that excuse.
Now, you found women with debts where people are going online and challenging the person to pay their debts. You found women with their ex-husbands on vacation. You found women with children they didn't admit to. You found children who've been married but said they were virgins. And there's a lot of information on those Facebook
Yes,
pages.
a lot of women were hiding their identity into a bullshit name on Facebook so that they can't be found. And there are a lot of reasons why they don't want to be found on social media. They might be involved into crime. They might be involved into huge debt of money, or they were involved into scamming previously
multiple
with
boyfriends, yeah.
multiple boyfriends and especially foreigners, you know, so they were like hiding into some other identity.
Now, you usually find multiple Facebook pages for almost everybody that we look. And one of the things that keeps happening, Chrissy, is the women, in addition to making up crazy names that the average person could never find, they block the person that hired us to look into their
Yeah.
social media. They block them. And so that person would never in a million years find that page, even if they could reverse the name backwards and take the two kids' names and combine them.
Yeah, you know, in this stage of my service, it becomes normal to be for a Filipino to have 2 accounts or 3 accounts. What not normal is that if you're talking to her through the extra account, not the official
Right.
account. If you are being added to the account that is almost empty and you're not added into the official account, and the worst thing that could happen as well is that you will never know there is an official account because you're being blocked.
Blocked, right.
So if you find that out, like if you will find out that you are being added into a bullshit account and not into the official account, I think you should just stop right there.
And Chrissy, half of your clients have already traveled to the Philippines and spent a month with a woman, to 2 separate trips of a month each. A lot of times when they go back home, they get this kind of spidey sense that something's off. The woman starts to ghost them a little bit. She's a little less appreciative. She asks for money. And these clients get the same pass-fail ratio as the clients who've never met. And one of the things we keep seeing, Chrissy, is a lot of of these women do not add the man to their Facebook page, to their social media, even after they've gone away on vacation and the men have met the family. What do you say when you find that?
It's concerning because you already met, you have already experienced each other in person, but still she is not accepting you to her social media world, because Filipinas have two worlds, the reality and the social media. If you're accepted in the real world and then not in the social media, it means she got another relationship in the social media world. And sometimes men are so denial about it, especially when they met the Filipina. They think they already verify and prove that she's real and she's really into him. Although they felt this spidey sense, they felt that there's something wrong.
Right.
Sometimes they still not doing the step of verifying the Filipino online because they're in denial.
You mentioned these multiple Facebook pages. A lot of men say, hey, I checked her Facebook page. She's got like 600 friends and there's no boyfriends, there's no cookies or breadcrumbs. I checked it. I sent away for your free PDF and I did it myself. And then we're like, wait a minute. A 30-year-old Filipina should have 3,000 Facebook friends. And it should go back to when she was 14.
So there is a way to find out when is the account was being made.
Yeah.
So if the account was made a year ago, it's normal that she's gonna have just 600 friends.
Religious sayings, pussycats.
Yeah, but the thing is, why did she make the account just a year ago and not the account years and years ago you're finding? There are a lot of Filipinos that will say their account were being hacked, and there's truth to that. There's a lot of Filipinas where account were being hacked, but it's not normal that all the time that's what we're gonna hear from men, that their account were hacked.
What is normal is when a woman decides to pivot and look for a relationship overseas, quite often she creates a brand new Facebook account. It gives her a brand new Messenger account too, so she can be
new crowd of people inside.
And if you are a Filipino and you normally talk to her on her Messenger account, you won't know she's online. She'll have another phone number, so to speak, another Messenger account to talk overseas, or she might use WhatsApp in addition. But usually we see that they create these BS accounts when they pivot and decide to date overseas. Chrissy, let's set aside the most obvious red flags and let's talk to the men that have a good head on their shoulders and they've managed businesses and been successful, and they start video chatting with somebody who's quite pretty and very, very, very interested in them, and they have 7, 8, 9 days in the relationship. Maybe they're video chatting twice a day. What can go wrong at this point?
Most of the time, they will put their guard down. They will be confident about the Filipina, and they will suspect less, of, like what I said, it can create a denial in yourself that she's doing something wrong, because you see it.
You'll make excuses.
Yeah, when she makes excuses, when she asks for money, you will think on yourself that it's normal, and you've proved already that she's real.
You've had 18 one-hour conversations with her. You've gotten to know her quite well. You get up an hour early with a skip in your step, and you might start getting even intimate on the phone, on the video.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that can still go wrong, Chrissy.
Yeah.
She could be playing a long con, and she could be talking to 4 or 5 men a day and giving each of them hours of video chat.
Yes.
And she will never ask for money because you can see how poor she is. You can see the poverty. You can just see it. So she doesn't need to ask. Or if she's playing a short con, Chrissy, she's going to give you a little sensuality and chemistry on the video around day 10. And on day 12, she's going to need only $165 US. Her brother had a motorcycle accident. So these are things you have to really watch out for. And we always tell our clients, don't get out over your skis. Don't invest yourself so much. So even though you've had 18 one-hour video chats, I can't tell you the number of times we've had clients say, Rob, I booked my tickets, I booked my hotel. She's sent her ID to get in the Airbnb, and poof, Chrissy finds it's a counterfeit ID. How did that happen? Full girlfriend experience. Well, sometimes if you're a very wealthy, very well-resourced man, that freelance scammer might decide, hey, maybe I should date you for a year or two, or maybe I should take advantage of you and be a gold digger with you for a year or two. She's lied to you in preparation of having you send large amounts of money, but she might want to go forward and meet you, but she's not being honest. So there's a lot that can go wrong. And men, this is the point where men have the hardest time believing it. They've either flown out and had a really great vacation ship with the girl, or they've spent 20 hours video chatting. She never hinted or asked for money, and it was you who suggested we fix the brother's motorcycle.
Yes, there are some Filipinas that the goal is to build your confidence so that you can let go of your guards, you know, and that point she will try to find your weakness. You know, she will show you poverty, she will show you sadness, or she will show you a lot of difficulties in life.
Yes.
And she will never ask for money, because once she will ask for money, it can alert you and get your guard up
It's
again.
really, and you know, I've gone into this in depth on other videos, but it's real simple. If she asks for money, stop and block. Just said stop and block. We have this friend, Manuel. We sat here on this patio, and he turned his phone around and showed how he blocked 30 Filipinas in 30 days because they asked for money. He married a college professor. Now, so many people, Chrissy, let's just talk about this. You know, we have these consulting clients, and we tell them, hey, we met on Filipino Cupid. It's the largest. Most men surveyed say they met there. Other men use Christian Filipina. Other men, Filipina love, date in Asia. But everybody says the same thing. It's just... it's horrible. It's full of scammers. The first 5 or 10 days online is horrible, horrible. And that is the same thing the men who succeeded will say. Emmanuel, who had 30 people he blocked, at day 15, he had nothing to show for his efforts, but he met the college professor on day 15. He continued talking to other women for 15 days and blocked another 15. So nobody really has this wonderful experience where they walk into a great app and boom, they meet their love of their life. Almost everybody hears these excuses.
Yeah, you know, we presented to them these excuses. This is the start of the pattern that the Filipina is not really the real one for you, that they're just going in for scamming. I have a question though. What is the difference of these excuses to the real excuses?
You know, I think if you have real excuses, there's gravity in your life. You do have children. You do have a life. You do have a job. One of the things that I've learned the hard way, because I told people once about the time I talked to a girl for 60 days, and then when I researched her social media, I found out she was engaged to a man from Ohio, is you can't make a determination to move forward until you've researched the woman's background. And nowadays in 2026, and Philippines #1 in the world, social media, they live their life in public, and it's all there. And so our rule is, if you have 15 days and she hasn't hinted or asked or accept money, you do research on her social media, and you do in-depth research. You get the confidence you need to move forward, or you find out the reason to say no. Do not get on the airplane and come see the woman if you haven't done that. It is something that I strongly encourage you never to proceed until you've done the reference check.
You know, in online marketing, actually nowadays, before you commit on buying bulks of items in a store, you can source crowd. What it means, crowdsource, something like that. You can what do you call this? Legitimize the shop first to the crowd who has experience already on this shop. Like, hey, is this real? Is this shop is real? Before I will commit on buying a lot of.
And Chrissy, you know, in terms of checking out the vendor, one of the things that's been happening lately, actually more and more, sometimes the social media comes back pretty clean, but the story that the client shares with us comes back fishy.
And sometimes it doesn't match on what's happening on social media. Like, for example, on social media, it's all clean, it's all public. There are travel histories, you know, like travel videos, but then her story towards you is that she's never been to Thailand, never been outside the country. But it's there on the social media. And the reason why you can't find it, because you're not welcome to social media, or you're being blocked from the social media.
Well, you just can't. They know they're talking to foreign men, and they don't want their whole life story to be laid out before the prospects. They want to get their hooks into you, get you to the point where you don't care, where you become the defense attorney, and you can make an excuse to all your friends and relatives as to why you don't need to listen to them, because you are already in hook, line, and sinker.
So maybe the checking of the Filipina is like about checking her social media world and her reality world.
Yeah, and what we do, Chrissy, is you spend 4 to 6 hours researching their social media. And what I've seen is really interesting to me. It's rarely do you find the aha moment on day 1 or day 2. It's almost always the 3rd day, the 5th hour, and like, holy cow, there it is. You had a gut feeling and you found it. But then
it actually depends on the category.
It depends on the category. So the other thing that happens is we spend an hour with the clients, and it takes about a half hour to show them all the different social media sites you found and all the relatives' comments and the pictures with the baby and their friends saying, congratulations on being a mother. But then we listen to the real life. Like, well, what do you mean you can only call her when she decides? You can never randomly call her. What do you mean she was in the hospital for a week and you never video chatted her during the week? What do you mean she went away for a week on a family reunion and couldn't call you? Why did she ask for money and not provide receipts? Why did she ghost you? Why does she treat you that way? Why does she get angry at you? We hear a lot of the actual story of the relationship, and we give an evaluation like a big brother, little sister. Why is it that so many smart men believe the lies, Chrissy?
I think because they ignore the pattern and believe the fantasy. So I think what's very important in dating Filipinas is that you have to notice the pattern, and you have also to notice the excuses. And if the pattern and excuses will go to the direction of scamming, then I think it's a scam. It's probably a scam. But if the patterns meets the excuses and you verified it's true, yeah, you can consider it, you know.
You know, a lot of men, I think, are their own worst enemies. Like, they are really resistant to flying 24 hours on an airplane. They're smokers. They don't want to go 12 hours without a cigarette. The woman suggests she can travel to meet them, and it's like, oh, this is perfect, very convenient, and before they know it, they're being given counterfeit documents and sending $500 for this and needing to put money in the bank, and she's quitting her job. Other men, they don't want to think, why would a 35-year-old drop-dead gorgeous nursing student be available and wanting to be interested in a 65-year-old from Texas with a dad bod? Why? There is no such thing in the Philippines as a 35-year-old supermodel going to graduate school in nursing, interested in a 65-year-old with a dad bod, never been married. No, it doesn't exist. But how come they can't see it?
That's why it's very important to trust and verify. And to verify it yourself, it's going to be so difficult. Like what you said, they're going to be biased. So coming from the third party, verification from the third party will be more helpful.
And you know, if the third party says, hey, everything looks good, I didn't see any lies, I didn't see any smoke, no mirrors, and then you can tell your daughter, you can tell your sister, you can tell your best friend, hey, I'm not a total idiot. I've gone into this carefully. I did my background check. I did my social media review. I found her Facebook page went back to age 14. I can document every week of her life for the last 15 years.
You should always remember that a real woman might not love being questioned, but if she's real and she's really into you, she would understand that you're just being careful.
It's the persistence that pays off. Thanks for watching. Till next time, don't forget to write